A problem is a chance for you to do your best. Namaskar, welcome to Next IS. I hope you are doing well. In this video, we will cover major headlines of the Hindu, Indian Express and Press Information Bureau. So without wasting any time, let's start today's discussion. Now recently, Pakistan issued a formal invitation to Prime Minister of India for upcoming SCO meeting in Istanbul. Pakistan holds the rotating chairmanship of the SCO Council of Heads of Government. India also hosted the SCO summit last year, talking about Shanghai Cooperation Organization. It is a permanent intergovernmental international organization comprising 9 member states, namely India, Iran, Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyz Republic, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. India's association with SCO began in 2005 as an observer country, and it became a full member state of the SCO at the Astana summit in 2017. And friends, India and Pakistan have a long history of strained relations, primarily due to the Kashmir issue as well as cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan. India has been maintaining that it desired normal neighborly relations with Pakistan. Pakistan also downgraded its ties with India after the Indian Parliament abrogated Article 370 on August 5, 2019. Next article talks about Bonda tribe, because recently Odisha tribal boy from Bonda tribe became the first from the community to clear NEET exam. Talking about Bonda tribe, it is a particularly vulnerable tribal group and one of the oldest tribes of India. They speak Munda dialect, which is an Austro-Asiatic language, and literacy among Bondas has not crossed 40%. Next article talks about gender budget, because recently gender budget reached 1% of the GDP estimates in 2024-25 for the first time, and overall allocations currently stand at more than 3 lakh crore for pro-women programs. Gender budget statement was first introduced in 2005-6, and the purpose of gender budgeting is to monitor expenditure and public service delivery from a gender perspective as a means of mainstreaming women's concern in all activities and improving their access to public resources. And this year is a special as share of allocations to pro-women schemes stand approximately 6.8% of the total budget expenditure for 2024-25. Now recently, India and China held the 31st meeting of the Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affairs. Both the sides decided to jointly uphold peace and tranquility on the ground in border areas. And friends, in 2020, Indian and Chinese troops clashed at Galwan, and since then both sides have been deployed in forward positions near patrolling point 15, which emerged as a friction point in the wake of Galwan clash. Over 50,000 Indian soldiers have been stationed since 2020 at forward post along the LAC with advanced weapons to prevent any attempts to change the status quo unilaterally on LAC. Now recently, Union Ministry of Women and Child Development launched SheBox, which is a centralized portal for registering and monitoring complaints of sexual harassment of women at workplace. It serves as a centralized repository of information related to internal committees and local committees formed, encompassing both government and private sector. It provides a short redressal of complaints and streamlined process for all stakeholders. Next article focuses upon INS Arighat, which is India's second nuclear-powered ballistic missile, and it was recently commissioned into service at Vishakhapatnam. It is said to be similar to INS Arihant but has more refined capabilities. INS Arihant was commissioned into service in 2016, and friends, the third nuclear-powered INS Aridhman, which is said to be bigger and more sophisticated, is also under construction. Now recently, Assam Assembly passed a bill that makes registration of Muslim marriages and divorce compulsory in the state. Bill also states that marriage between people not of the legal age will not be registered and considered valid. This bill is aimed at preventing teenage pregnancy, child marriage, and marriages without consent of both parties. This will also prevent men from deserting their wives after marriage. Next article talks about Gijutsu and Akido, which are forms of martial arts, and they are originated in Japan with an emphasis on grappling, weight, and energy manipulation. Now, Prime Minister of India has acknowledged that Lakpa Didi are ensuring their participation in nation building through self-help groups. Lakpa Didi is a self-help group member who earns an annual household income of rupees 1 lakh or more. This income is calculated for at least 4 agricultural seasons or business cycles with an average monthly income exceeding rupee 10,000. Lakpa Didi is an output of Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana National Rural Livelihood Mission scheme of the Ministry of Rural Development. It facilitates diversified livelihood activities by ensuring convergence across government departments, ministries, private sector and market players. Next article talks about Sports Day, because recently Prime Minister of India paid tributes to Major Dhyan Chand on National Sports Day. Talking about National Sports Day, it is an annual celebration on August 29th in honor of Major Dhyan Chand, India's iconic hockey player. Over a career that spanned from 1926 to 1948, Dhyan Chand scored more than 1,000 goals, leading to India three consecutive Olympic gold medals in 1928, 1932, and 1936. Now, recently, Niti Aayog released a report on pathways and strategies for accelerating growth in edible oils towards Atmanirbharta. This report highlights that over past decades, per capita consumption of edible oil in the country has seen a dramatic rise, reaching 19.7 kg per year. In 2022-23, India imported 16.5 million tons of edible oils, with domestic production fulfilling only 40 to 45% of the country's requirement. This situation presents a substantial challenge to the country's goal of achieving self-sufficiency in edible oils. Next article talks about rheumatoid arthritis, and according to recent study, Ayurvedic whole system is effective in the management of rheumatoid arthritis, which is a chronic disease that causes inflammation around the body and commonly presents with pain in the joints. It can cause severe damage to the joints and their surrounding tissue. It can lead to heart, lung, and nervous system problems. Common symptoms include chronic pain, stiffness, tenderness, heat, and swelling in joints. Its causes are unknown, but risk factors include smoking, obesity, and exposure to air pollution. Women and older people have high risk of developing this disease. So with this, let's conclude today's discussion. Thanks for listening, and for regular updates, you can follow us on various social media platforms.